ourselves to bring that and be able to realize the things that we'd like to work on. We'll do a full presentation at the public hearing, and that really is the better place to kind of present it and field questions and all that. So that's kind of the quick overview, but this is just to address the issue of markets, which are listed as they're defined as a use in the land use bylaw, but they're not listed anywhere as being allowed to be put. So in essence, it's something that, and we just have happened to have multiple calls lately about interest in these things. So our planner has done a bunch of work on preparing a vision as to how that could be addressed in our land use bylaw.
Okay, Councilor McCoy?
Would you like the motion?
Sure.
That council grant first reading to bylaw number 2023-04, amendment to the land use bylaw.
All right, any other comments? All vote, all in favor?
And that council set the public hearing for bylaw number 2023-04 for February 28th, 2023, regular council meeting.
Okay, I'll call the vote, all in favor? It's carried. Okay, item 9.1, exploration of discontinuation of the bid program. Motion? If you make it, you speak to it first.
Okay, good.
Is that incentive?
Yep. I'll move that council accept the exploration of discontinuation of the Blue Bin program report as information.
Okay. And you'd like to speak to it?
Absolutely, I would like to speak to it. I'm shocked by the information that's provided here, that it is not consistent with anything throughout the province. Well, across the country. I've been to landfills and sorting facilities all the way from Quebec to northern Alberta, southern Alberta, and there is a general consensus that recycling in general is under 5%. And to say here that they're recycling 85 to 90% just doesn't jive with anything that I've seen anywhere across the entire country. So I don't know where to go with this. I think that there's a whole bunch of things that lend into this that need much further discussion. I think that it might be really worthwhile to have the CAO of our Waste Commission come in, who is very versed in what's going on here, to come and speak to council to maybe give us a little bit of information with regard to what is going on and what is actually being recycled and what is not being recycled. We see, when I was on the Waste Commission for 4 years, we got reports of vehicles coming with recycled products going directly to the landfill. They weren't going to a sorting facility, they weren't going to recycling at all, they were going straight to the landfill. So the information provided here just doesn't sit consistent with anything that I've had through the Waste Commission in 4 years, through all the experience and travels I've had. On behalf of council, to go to these workshops at different conferences, and it just doesn't jive. It doesn't reflect that at all. So I think there needs to be some further explanation on this. I'm totally befuddled that anybody would say we're at 85 to 90% recycling, when even CARE, who is the enterprises that are for recycling, wouldn't suggest that.
Is that just for paper though?
The paper and cardboard, depending on whether it's contaminated or not, right now has a somewhat high recyclability to it. But if you put a pizza box in a blue container of paper, you contaminated the whole thing. It's done. It's over now. It is landfill. And that's just the reality of it. So
My question was, I know that Councilor McCoy had a hand up, but my question was, capital paper answered that, so is paper maybe 85 to 90? So that's just all they do?
I'm not sure that it would be that high because of the contamination level. And so that's where I think that if we had the CAO from the commission come in, Michael Weatherick, to just give us some background information and what some statistics that it might be worthwhile and might help us with understanding where we are with all of this. I mean,
So you've made a motion, and you can make that motion after this one's voted on if you want.
okay.
And Councilor Coyle has her hand up.
As the Waste Commission rep, I recall that we made a motion not so long ago to agree with the Waste Commission that we weren't going to do recycling anymore. So are we just going to continue to trick the residents into, like, that their recycling currently is going into landfill, or like, what are we gonna do? And so I agree that I can certainly contact him, as could Ethan, and arrange for him to come and do a presentation about why they went that way. And I think that might be a better education for all of us.
The motion was not on blue bins though, for the Waste Commission, that was on the bins at the sites that collect. People have to take them there. So that motion wasn't about blue bins. And if you make that motion, administration would set that up, I believe, so.
Point of clarity, maybe? Like, what do you mean it's not about the blue bins?
Our motion that we made at the last meeting was not to discontinue blue bins, it was to discontinue the community recycling centers. Yeah.
Which we don't have.
Mayor, if I could,
Yes,
what I'd recommend is, if there's dependence on how much council has interest in this, I'd recommend this communication we received was from E360, our contractor that's who we reached out to explore this issue with. They're the ones that have kind of presented, they consulted with Capital Paper amongst other things, they're the ones that sent us the quote. But if, depending on council's interest, I would think maybe that would be the first one you would ask to come and speak to you, to kind of allow you the opportunity to engage with them if you have interest to do so, as to their feeling that it's this, still this bountiful of a process.
Yeah.
and it's also, Michael Weathers often said he's not the expert on this, like, because he's the CEO and he does many things with the Waste Commission. So, I don't know if you're gonna, if you make that motion, that would be your motion about to accept as information this report. Any other comments? Call the vote, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, that's carried. Okay.
So Mayor Hunter, I will make a motion that council direct administration to arrange with E360S to provide us a presentation on the blue bin recycling program. Yes?
Okay. Any comments or any questions on that? Call the vote, all in favor?
I didn't see you, did you vote? No? Okay, so we're on the vote.
Okay, it's carried. Okay,
We have item 9.2, estimated amount of retroactive payments on the RCMP agreement settled.
Councilor Besser?
I move to accept the RCMP retroactive pay estimate report as information.
Okay,
Questions or comments? We don't have any, oh, go ahead, Councilor Williams.
Is this going to have an effect on our operation budget?
where did it come from?
As far as the budget goes, no, we haven't budgeted for this in the 2023 budget or any year. So no, it doesn't have an effect on the budget as far as the current budgeting process is concerned. However, if an invoice were to come through, there's not an approved budget for it, so we could not pay it. It would have to come to council to authorize that payment and at such time decide how it would be paid for.
And I might suggest too, we have a RCMP reserve fund that we started saving for in 18, 19. So there's funds, just for clarity, that we might not just get it in the operating budget. The RCMP reserve was set up for a variety of reasons like this. So does that help? Okay, and we can't there's just no way to get any current information since May 22. Like, they're not answering much, eh?
I have asked for clarification a few times about, and most recently when I was preparing this report, and they referred me back to that letter from early in 2022. So, and I've also asked several times to clarify if, like, why are the years that we weren't paying for policing included in the estimate? And I have been given some feedback that, yeah, that doesn't seem like that should be in there, but it wasn't their decision. It'd have to go further up to decide that. And I hadn't heard back about that either.
Okay, Councilor Bowser, Deputy Mayor, Councilor Windsor.
Just a quick question, Mayor. You talked about the reserve fund for covering this RCMP financial upgrade. Are we using the reserve fund also for the parking lot reconstruct? Is that where that money's coming from too? So are we going to double up here with whatever it is, 50,000 for the parking lot for the RCMP plus this request from the government?
Okay, I'm gonna let Amanda, or Ethan and Amanda answer the parking lot one, and the retroactive's been there looming over all us municipalities across Canada since the agreement was settled, so no one has that answer. But our reserves could cover it if we chose it. So the parking lot?
So with the parking lot, that actually wasn't brought forward as a project on this year's budget, so there is no expanding or parking lot expansion on the books currently.
Maybe they'll pay for it, Councillor Bazick. We should have, no, they, the K divisions, government. Deputy Mayor, then Councillor Windsor.
So through the chair, I guess this question would be for Amanda through Ethan. So is it fair to say that you're requesting specific information and they're not providing it? They're just redirecting your requests when it comes to this back pay?
Ethan?
I would say that the people I've been talking to are unable to answer my question more than anything.
It is a political thing right now that still is being engaged on by both the national organization as well as the provincial one. It's something that is still kind of being pushed back on. Some of the groups are saying the municipalities don't pay if they invoice you because they kind of want a united front. There is a strong position out there that municipalities shouldn't be on the hook for this. So because we weren't at the table when it was negotiated. So.
Councilor Windsor?
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. Would it be a prudent idea to request an audience with K Division to discuss this? You're shaking your head.
Well, it's federal government. The federal government, the public safety, Department of Public Safety, and something else. Public safety and, yeah. So I think asking K Division or any RCMP division is, they're the ones that got the raise. They're not going to worry about how the bill's paid. No, it is a federal government invoice. Well, Alberta Municipalities is lobbying for that, and all the municipalities are writing letters, and I think we must have been 20 or when we first got it. So it's not like they don't know. But Councillor Williams is looking at me like he knows something that we don't know, but. So cough it up.
That's the fun though.
Mhm. It is federal
I
government.
think we should, with our local MP.
We thought we had them all, I guess we don't.
Yeah, you want them all to
Well, you know, I think you raised a good
Good comment there, Councillor Williams. Just even invite our MP here because it's been. I'm going to call the vote. All in favor?
That we send a letter to invite our local member of parliament to discuss retroactive pay
and maybe other issues.
on a wide range of issues, including retroactive pay.
Thank you. That's
Excellent. I like that. Any other comments on that? It's carried. Okay. Alberta Provincial Police Service, a letter, and I did edit this to make sure that it was just about unanswered questions. So I hope everybody's identified that, and that I do just want to add that we're also having a meeting with the Central Alberta. I do just want to add that we're also having a meeting with the Central Alberta mayors to discuss this very same thing, and that will then bring the number to between 50 and 55 mayors discussing this.
Move the council approve Mayor Hunter to send a letter on behalf of council to Premier Danielle Smith addressing unanswered questions and concerns regarding the creation of an Alberta Police Force Service. Provincial Force.
Okay. All right, and Councillor Moore, another question?
Okay, good.
Yes, I just wanted to say that the last page of your letter is, I really like it. I totally agree with it, and I would really want to send that even as a separate letter. However, the first part of it goes further than I'm willing to go, talking about uniformity amongst municipalities, which is not the case. And so I will ask for a recorded vote.
Okay.
Well, Councillor McCoy?
I can't support this because I want to see impartial information come back for both sides. And I think this reads to me as if we're saying, why would we change? Instead of saying, what are the benefits of us going to province policing system? So it's more proactive than reactive. It just a matter of tone to me. I can't support this letter.
Okay, now I'll just, if I can, thanks for that, Councillor Moore. And then on the other part of that, I asked everybody to read it and have input onto this. And what I've tried to take out is this council's already sent, or council already has a letter to the Premier and our Justice Minister from 2021. So what I did was try in the letter that Mayor Colby had penned I took out anything to question